Greetings and salutations. Charlton 66 here once again to discuss comics and to say thanks to everyone who has viewed and subscribed and left comments for me. I do appreciate that. It's great meeting all these different people throughout the country and the world, and seeing what they like as far as comic books and movies and collectibles. It's very interesting, and because of that, I know my want list has grown probably about a page and a half um, since I started really watching these videos back a few years ago. Not just since I've made videos, but I was watching videos before I started to make my own videos. So again, thanks to everyone for viewing and subscribing. I'm going to talk about a few horror comics and some oddball sci-fi stuff. Nothing really extravagant or anything to write home about, but still cool enough to have in a collection, and I enjoy having it in my collection, and it's just oddball enough where I really do enjoy having it. On to the first thing. One of the movies I was a fan of as a kid was The Black Hole. I still like the movie. It is a movie of its time. From my experience, people really like the movie or they really dislike the movie. So I've never found someone who said that it's just an okay movie. So first thing I got the soundtrack here. It's in mint condition. It still has the souvenir photo album inside. It's a 12-page color photo album inside. But this is the soundtrack. It was in shrink wrap when I bought it a few years ago. I paid $4 or $5 for it. But this is the soundtrack from the motion picture. And on to the Black Hole comics. This is Walt Disney Showcase, The Black Hole, with Maximilian there on the cover. The artwork inside, technically it's good for for the robots and spacecraft and stuff, but some of the faces and the facial expressions are kind of goofy here and there, but it's still cool to have nonetheless in your collection. Here's the first issue, its own series from the movie. Number 2, The Black Hole. And last but not least, number 3. Nice photo cover there. There is that's Vincent, one of the little robots that was, part of Vincent anyway. There's a number 4 that's out. It's somewhere to be found. It was sold in pre-packs only, and if you find it and you can get it on the cheap, get it. It guides for about $5.50 in near mint, so it's hard to find. And again, it was sold in pre-packs. So there was a number 4, has an all new storyline, and it has Dan Spiegel artwork in it. So it's one of those things to keep an eye out for. This is a one shot. The Microbots. It's made from a toy line, the Microbot toy line, which is pretty decent cover. The artwork's not too bad in it. I think it's Jack Sparling, I think. Again, the Microbots from Gold Key. And here's Blast Off, the 3 Rocketeers. Kirby, Williamson, I think even Torres has artwork in here. And I think even Reed Crandall, if I'm not mistaken, Reed Crandall's in this. I know Williamson and Kirby for sure. This is a Simon and Kirby cover. Blast Off, the 3 Rocketeers, from 1965, I do believe. And this is not really a sci-fi, but another oddball comic book I picked up not too long ago. Anyone who's a fan of Cheech Wizard or Ron Bodie, it's a Cheech Wizard special. Schizophrenia. All new adults only, hand-drawn 2-for-1 comic books. And our Von Bodie right there in his crazy pose. Believe it or not, Stan Lee was trying to get Von Bodie to draw for Marvel. I can't imagine how that would work out, but it never came to fruition, obviously. From my understanding, if he couldn't own what he did, he wasn't going to do it. So Vaughn didn't do anything with Stan Lee, but still, I can only imagine what would come out of that. Here's a really cool sci-fi series from Whitman called Starstream. This is the first issue, and there's actually a story in here, Who Goes There, John W. Campbell's classic story that The Thing is based off of. The Thing from Outer Space, and John Carpenter's The Thing is based off of that story. And the story in here is really good, and plus it has a cardboard cover, and got some really good sci-fi stories in here. Frank Bull does a lot of the art chores in these books. There was 4 issues. I only have 1 and I think 4. Yeah, 1 and 4. I still have my eye out for 2 and 3. But look at that cover. Great stories. Got Paul Anderson's story in here, and Isaac Asimov's story. Does a Bee Care, which is a really good story. They really did a good job with this. I also wish there would be more stories. There was more issues of Starstream. But again, it's from Whitman. Excellent stuff. If you can get it, you can find them in the dollar bins. I found those issues for like $2 or $3 a piece. They guide for a lot more than that, but from what I've seen, they're not really on a wall or anything like that. You'll find them if you hunt well enough. The Dell Giant, #1, Tales from the Tomb, which is a great cover here. Tales from the Tomb, Dell Giant, #1. And Marvel's Fear, which was a great run. Horror and giant monster stories. Fear 1. I'm sure most of you all seen these or have these in your collection, but they're still fun to go through and to read. #2. #3. And this is the one, Monsters Unleashed. Zootak appeared in one of the Monsters Unleashed by Marvel just recently. #4. Giant size issues are just fun to have. Has a lot of cool stuff in there. Lee Kirby, Ayers, Ditko. All this stuff are in these issues. It's just fun stuff. I love this gorilla changing cover. Pretty nice. Metamorphosis from a man to a gorilla. Fear #6. This is where they start going down in page size. #7 is a regular 20-cent issue, because they're going to be coming up to Man-Thing here in a minute. #8. #9. And #10, starting with Man-Thing. Man-Thing started with this run. Not his first appearance is not here. It's in Savage Tales, but that's when they started Fear running Man-Thing from this point on. Which I love Man-Thing. He's one of my favorite characters. Speaking of Man-Thing, I don't know if you can see it, but I got a pretty cool Man-Thing statue right over there. You can see it. I don't know how well you can see it or not, but it's pretty darn cool Man-Thing statue. Really like the character. Fear #11. Man-Thing. Fear #13. Actually, it was changed to Adventures into Fear from 10 on, I believe. Yeah, Adventure into Fear, but it's continue on with the Fear title. 14. Adventures into Fear with the Man-Thing. Great cover there. Always have secret cults in the 70s. There's always some horror comic with a cult of some sort coming into the hero, the protagonist way of life. It could be a cult doing something. be it Tales of the Zombie, Man-Thing, Morbius, Tomb of Dracula, and you name it. There's some cult involved somewhere along the line. It was a 70s thing, I think. Number 16. I'm missing 15. I know I have it. I probably have it somewhere, but don't have it in my stack here. I know I don't have 17, and here's number 18. It's a great cover. Such a great character. I wish he's got as much as recognition as Swamp Thing did, or does. I like Man-Thing much better. So those are the horror comic books I'm going to go over for this video. I hope you liked what I had to show. And I would be remiss if I didn't go over some Charlton stuff before the end of the video. One of the things that I talked about, and some other YouTubers are very fond of Tom F. Sutton's work. And if they're not aware that IDW put out a nice hardbound Tom Sutton Creepy Things. I mean, you can't dig that artwork. I don't know what's wrong with you, man. It's phenomenal. This is one of the cooler stories. I shouldn't say cooler stories, but one of the creepier ones. But it's a nice hardbound book of Tom Sutton goodness. There's a man at his drawing board. Legend has it that when he passed away, he was at his drawing board when he had died. But this right here is phenomenal because the comic book that came on, Monster Hunters #1, I believe, no, #2, #3. You can't really see the details you can right here, but it goes over his history about Tom Sutton, his artwork. It's just really it's a really good book to have. If you're a big fan of Tom Sutton or Charlton in general, oh, look at that cover. Really phenomenal stuff. There he is on the back. Nice edition. For only $25, you really can't beat it. I think you can probably get it on Amazon for around $22, $23. But again, Tom Sutton's Creepy Things. Be there or be square, man. This is good stuff. And also from Vanguard Press, Steve Ditko Space Wars. Nice hardcover in glorious black and white. Some of Steve Ditko's reprints from Charlton. It's just really, the man just is phenomenal. And these 2 pages, it's just really good stuff. They reprint a lot of the sci-fi stuff from the late 50s, early 60s, and before Marvel was even Marvel, as we know it today. He was drawing these stories for Charlton. But again, it's called Steve Ditko Space Wars. It was only this first edition was only limited to 1,200 copies. I'm sure you can still get it. It's $35, kind of pricey, but for some of the issues that you get reprinted in here, these are some of the issues. It's well worth it because these early Charltons, because it's Ditko's early work, and just because the stories are so good, and it's hard to find some of these Charltons in grade. You're paying a lot. You're paying a big premium for the back issues. So, just want to leave everyone with that little tidbit. If you're a big fan of Charlton and Steve Ditko, or just sci-fi in general, pick it up. And obviously, if you're a fan of horror and great artwork, pick up your Creepy Things, Tom Sutton's Creepy Things. Well, that's it for me. I do appreciate everyone viewing, subscribing, commenting. Everyone have a great weekend, and love to see some videos that are in my are waited to be watched. I should say. I got videos, a list of them that I'm still need to take a look at and comment on. I do enjoy them, and like I said, I learn I learn a lot from what everybody has to say, being in my comments or in their own videos. So thank you. Thanks for viewing and subscribing, and have a good weekend. Later.